Elevate TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
Yes, evening blessings, and thank you for connecting with us tonight. This is Man Unveiled, right here from Elevate TV. I'm your host, Joe Wisdom. Glad to welcome you, welcoming your family, this family time. And it's always our joy to come to you live on Facebook, live on YouTube. You can continue sharing with your family, with your friends. Let them know that something is happening tonight. We are talking about a man as a leader, and we want to demystify leadership. What is this jargon called leadership? Many people, you talk about a leader as someone who knows the way, goes the way, and many definitions. But today we have men who are tested, approved, solid men, as I always say. We don't bring what we call armchair generals. We bring men who have been out there, trainers, mentors, call it, name it. And because we are here tonight, we want you to write to us, engage us as much as we can, ask questions. It's always our pleasure to answer your questions, especially when it comes to the topic of the day. We want to welcome every person who is a fan of this program. We say we are building a community. We are building a community of men empowerment. We want to empower a man because if a man is empowered, the society is empowered. If a man is restored to his original place in God, the whole family is happy. But anytime a man is not in his place, the whole family will be chaotic. You're welcome. As I give an opportunity to my guest, I have sought for this man for so long. Thank God that tonight he's together with us. Evangelist Andrew.
Thank you so much.
Welcome so much to Elevate and Man Unveiled.
Thank you so much.
Look at that camera, say hi to us.
Yes. Yeah. Hi to everyone who is watching. I'm very glad to be here. I have been watching at home and commenting on Facebook, and I'm glad that I'm finally also here. And I'm very happy that you've welcomed me to this program. Yeah.
Wow. Andrew, as we had mentioned, is a coach, is a trainer, and I have interacted with some of his programs. And he's a leader because he has people following him. You know, they say that if you think you're a leader, look behind you. If none is following, you are merely taking a walk.
Yes.
And we have Apostle Chris, all the way from Embu. And we want to call this man into the city. The city is calling.
Yes.
And you have no choice, sir. Say hi to us and shout out to the people watching from.
Thank you. It's always a joy to be here on Elevate TV. And to be hosted by you, Apostle Joe, is such a blessing. We always enjoy ourselves to be in this wonderful studio. Greetings to you from Pastor Chris here, and we are celebrating you for also being together with us. Thank you for finding time to log in, subscribing, commenting, liking, and also, sharing the broadcast so that we can be able to reach to as many men as we can, so that we see whether we can be able to restore something, because that is the will and the purpose of God for the man. So thank you and karibuni sana. Make sure that you talk to us, tell us where you're watching from, make sure that you tag a friend or two so that we can be together, be blessed in the name of Jesus. My name is Apostle Chris, all the way from Embu. The Lord bless you.
Wow, wow, wow.
Amen.
Now, from Lead Academy, because when you talk about leading, you're talking about leadership.
Yes. Yes.
And I want to be very honest here because I'm hosting someone that we have walked a journey, and every time, the first time I heard him speak, he was talking about passion, and I asked God, may you make me meet that man again. because I had visited Nairobi for an event. And Evangelist Sandro,
Yes.
demystify leadership. What do you understand by leadership, and especially a man being a leader?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for that. I'm actually happy to be here because this is one of the area where I'm very passionate about.
Yeah.
We speak about leadership all the time. My understanding of leadership is the ability to influence through actions. That last part is very important. It's not only the ability to influence, but it is the ability to influence through actions. And when we talk about influence, we are talking about influencing change. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Ability to influence
Yes, the ability to influence.
through action. And you are talking about influencing change.
Yes.
Maybe if you can take us deeper. When we talk about influencing change and through action, what makes a man a leader?
What makes a man a leader? What makes a man a leader is actually the fact that God created man to be a leader. I posted something yesterday and I said a man is a leader. When God created man in the book of Genesis, Genesis 1:26, 1:27, around there, you find the purpose God gave to man. And that purpose has got something to it. The Bible talks about dominion. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day and I was telling him the right word, some versions speak about dominion. The right word is actually ruling. So I like looking at NIV version. Because when you look at the word ruling, then you find leadership and management together. So what makes a man a leader is that man was created to provide leadership. Because God told man, and that was Adam, rule. Yeah, so you know that is what makes it the fact that man was created a leader. Yes.
Pastor Chris, are leaders born or are leaders made?
That one is a tough one. I thought about it today also.
Yes.
You see, without even going back to what he said,
Yes.
so much.
Yes.
A leader also is a person who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way.
Yes.
So that's a leader, basically. A man is a leader because he knows the way. God has put him in front. You study your Bible from Genesis, he was created first. And a lot of things are you can be able to tell that, a man was put in front.
Yes.
So as he is in front, you see, one of the ways also I describe leadership is that is a man in front. You can't be behind and you're telling people, I'm leading you, let's go.
No, I read a book that says that leading from behind.
I've heard that.
That's another
All right, let's go on.
paradox.
Yes.
Because literally, like for example, when we are saying we are shepherds,
Yes.
of course, from the Bible, shepherdhood is derived from the culture of Israel.
Yes.
If I know you've studied that, you discover that shepherdhood happened when you were in front of the sheep.
That I agree. Yes, sir.
You can lead from behind. You lead from the
That's
front.
our African way of leading the sheep.
Yes.
Yes.
Actually,
yes.
Yes. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Actually, when you talk about, somebody of course talked about leading from behind.
Yes.
That is now where you draw the difference between leadership and politics.
Yes.
Okay.
Politics manipulate, not lead.
Okay.
They manipulate from behind.
Okay.
Leaders lead from the front. And that is why we associate leadership with creating or producing sheep, not goat.
Okay.
So politicians produce goats.
Goats.
Because goats must be manipulated.
Manipulated to
Leaders
follow.
produce sheep.
Sheep
Because
are
sheep
led.
you call, they know my voice. I call them, they follow.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes, that's the difference. So that is it. So when we are talking about now whether a leader is born or made,
Yes.
then we, of course, within our context of the man,
Yes.
we would say that man was created a leader.
Yes.
When
Yes.
God needed people or a family,
Yes.
because one of the things that you discover about God is that God is a God of a family, of families. And you will see that across, is littered in the scriptures. So when he created man so that he can be able to install leadership.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, anywhere God wants to bring a change or to take people to a certain place, from one place to another, the first thing he will do is to install leadership.
Wow.
He wanted to deliver the children of Israel from Egypt, from Egypt to Canaan. The first thing he did was to install leadership.
Wow.
Who is the person that is going, without even thinking, that he prepared him for 40 years. First of all, preparing a leader before he even tells them that he is going to deliver them, or even giving them a hint that they are coming out. So God first prepares a leader before anything else happens. So God first priority when he wants to move a community from one place to another, advance a
When
people.
you want to cause change.
Yes, to cause change anywhere, in the family, in the community, in any nation, anywhere, that he first has to have a leader. So for me, man was born a leader, and number two, any community that needs a leader, God prepares a leader for them.
Wow.
That's now where my book comes
Yes.
in, when the findings of men
The findings of
that
men.
God uses to advance people.
Yes.
And number one is leadership.
Wow.
People have found leadership, they have found direction, they have found, every good thing.
Yes. You can get that book right here at Elevation Bookshop.
Yes.
The Findings of Men is a very good book. It's actually a pocket book. You can even carry it wherever you go. Keep looking at the findings of men. What are these things that men have found? That when God wants to establish, when God wants to settle, when God wants to advance a people, he establishes and raises a leader.
Yes.
I like that. Andrew,
Yes.
are leaders born or are leaders made? I know I have heard you discuss that.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
My view is the Bible view.
Yes.
Leaders are born. If people talk, when people talk about whether they are made, if they are talking about being developed, then I say leaders are born, but leaders must be developed.
I like that.
You're right.
Yes.
You are playing it very, very safe, sir.
It's true.
Leaders are born,
Yes.
but leaders must be developed to be able to provide leadership.
Yeah.
And that one, you get it directly from the Bible. And who is, what better place to find the purpose of man and why God created man and what God was thinking when he was creating man than to go back to the Bible. I know there are many theories out there. You know, there are people who say leaders are not, they are made. You cannot make a leader. You can develop as somebody to lead, but leaders are born. So, and I usually tell people, when I call people for a leadership meeting, I tell people, I'm not calling some specific group of people the way you've been taught traditionally. I'm calling everybody.
All right.
My theory is that we should teach leadership right from the youngest child to the oldest person. Because everybody is born on earth to provide leadership.
Wow.
So leaders are born.
Wow,
Yes.
wow. Yes. We are looking at this wonderful topic, and I know you are right there following us. Continue writing to us. If you hear a bugger point, why can't you just jot it right there? Write it there and see what you are learning. And I also encourage you to continue writing, continue calling your friend, continue sharing. You can imagine there is someone whose marriage is falling apart right now just because of lack of leadership. There is someone who is not able to manage his family. There is someone who is not able to manage his organization or his company just because of leadership issues, leadership problems. You are not able to deal with your issues. Please continue writing to us, continue encouraging other people to watch this program, because this is what every man needs, leadership. Yes. Now, Pastor Chris, why should people follow men? Why should a man follow another man? Because as you're saying, we have people who are out there since the time they were in primary school, in high school,
Yes.
university, there have always been leadership. And others have never even led anything. The only thing they have led is themselves. They are even led to Christ.
Yes.
They have never led themselves in anything. Why should, and what makes these man, what are these things that makes a man be followed by other men?
Wow. There is something that the man of God began with saying, that leadership is influence. Of course, one of the greatest leaders of leadership coach of our time is John Maxwell. He came up with that, that leadership is influence, which is true. And as long as you are able to influence people, then it means that people can easily follow you. So, and if people easily follow you, that is one of the things that tells you that you are a leader. If people can easily follow you. You know, there are people who are not easy to follow because they don't know how to influence people. They don't know how to. Leadership is like music, that you enjoy it when it is musing your heart. When it is musing your heart, you enjoy it. And so leadership also is like that. That if we are not influenced, if we are not mused in the heart by the leadership, it becomes very difficult to follow. And also, that leadership also happens, and I said it here another time, that leadership happens also when there is obedience around it. When there is obedience, because also you can be a great leader, but the kind of people that are around you, because there are people you also can't influence if they are disobedient. You can't go anywhere, even as a great leader, born a leader, trained, developed a leader, you can't go anywhere with disobedient people, with rebellious people. They will frustrate your movement and all that. And so one of the things that makes people follow easily is because they themselves are obedient and they know their place in the leadership. And one of the greatest problems that I think we usually have, especially on this side, we have always been saying, man of God, that the problem of Africa is leadership. And I got to a place I discovered, no, they think it is not. I think our problem is followership. Because we don't know how to follow well. We don't know how to follow well. We all of us want to be in front. We all of us want to lead. We all of us want to influence. We even want to influence the leader. You understand? We also want to influence the leader to think like us. In case the leader has a high and a great vision, a leader, the followers also want to influence the leader to think like them, which is an upside down way of things. And so people follow because they themselves have positioned themselves as number one, good followers, and number two also is disciples. You cannot follow. Jesus himself went out there, appointed the 12 that they may be with him, and then from there they became disciples. They took the posture of a disciple. You cannot follow if you, number one, not a disciple. You cannot follow.
Yes. But Sandro, when we talk about leadership, there's so much we can look at it. There are so many dimensions we can look at it from. One of them is the place of a vision in a leader. Because why are you being followed? What reasons do you have for anyone to follow you? You know, there's one great man who said that even the shortest man in the village can see the sky. What is the place of a vision?
Yes. So, first of all, when we talk about leadership, I like to tell people the reason why you talked about something about somebody who always follows and they never get to lead. I think, and this is one of the most important topic I think everybody should get to hear about. It's the reason why some people never get to lead is because they have never discovered their potential to lead. Nobody ever told them that they were born leaders. There are people who actually believe, like we have been told, that leaders have to be developed. And sadly, if you happen to be under a politician, because I like to tell people there is a thin line between leadership and politics.
Yes.
If and I usually like to tell people, politics is not just what they they do in the national government. Politics is a principle.
It's a principle. Right?
It is a principle. Just the same way, leadership is a principle. It operates under a principle. So your principles can be political, or your principles can bring out leadership. So if you happen to be under someone whose principles of managing people are political by nature, which of course has to do with manipulation, control, intimidation, they will tell you, you are born to sit down and follow and just listen.
Yeah.
It's true.
And so you will always end up just being following. But if you, and that is why I say leaders must be developed by other leaders. If you sit under a leader, because one of the first, actually the most important assignment for a leader is to raise leaders.
That's mentorship.
Yes, that is through mentorship. The children, when a leader, if you are a leader and you cannot show people you are produced who are leading in other areas, then you have not been successful.
You are failing.
Yes, so you are failing. So our assignment, and this is what I spend a lot of time doing, our greatest assignment is to help people discover their leadership potential. So I like to tell people, everybody was born to lead in something, while they follow other leaders in other things.
Right.
And I use a very good example. I tell people, if we go to Kasarani to watch a football match, we all sit down because we are not football players, and the footballers, they lead us. That is why the topic of leadership is very vast. It's not just, leadership is not just having physical people following you, it's having influence over people, even mentally, because that influence just mental. You can have a lot of followers who are there who you've never seen, but they hear you speak and they follow you on social media, especially nowadays. So the most people will not lead because they have never discovered that they are leaders.
Wow.
So the assignment is to help people discover their leadership potential.
Wow.
Yes.
As a man, and I know that we are going for a break,
Yes.
but as a man, how can I influence my family? How can I influence the society around me? Because we are born in a society, within a community. How am I able to influence first my own family? Because you find that there are some men out there who are facing a very difficult time leading even their own wives.
Yes.
Their wives don't believe in them.
Yes.
Actually, and I have seen that. You tell me the place of that, because you see that a man is being followed by people out there, but when it comes to his own family, they don't believe in him. What happens? What makes a man lose that aspect of leadership when it comes to the very close people around him?
Wow.
Yet out there, people see him as a great man.
Yes. Apostle Joe, one of the things you discover around leadership is that it happens also easily when there is trust. If you have done something, if you have said something, first time, second time you have failed, the third time you fail, you are not your word, then that begins to bring a hitch to your leadership. That your family, your wife, can't trust you again, no matter where you speak from, whether you stand on the top of the tree and shout, whether you are standing before a community and speak. If you have a track record of not fulfilling your word, then those that you are trying to lead will begin to break out of your leadership system. And that is very, very important. And number two, we also lead by decisions. There are men today who can't make decisions for their families. And not because sometimes they cannot, but because what is surrounding them is giving them pressure and they can't. Now, that inability to make a decision even in the middle of pressure is lack of leadership ability. You need to make a decision. You know you are the leader. You know this is what the direction you want your family to go. Make a decision. And once they see the outcome of the decisions, once they see the that something good is coming out of this decision, they easily follow. So the reason why sometimes people are not able to follow a leader, especially even at home as a man, is because number one, you broke the trust, and number two, you have not been able to make decisions that can literally be followed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there something that we want to add?
Yeah, so let me add on what he has said by saying the definition of leadership is influence through actions. And it is influencing change through actions. The thing that makes people unable to lead is because they are unable to influence. And of course, when we talk about influence, we are talking about dominion through inspiration.
Okay.
You inspire people. You are influencing them through inspiration. That is now again the other thing. You don't force people to go somewhere. You go ahead of them with actions. If you want to bring change in your community, if something is supposed to be done, instead of telling people, the other day I wrote on Facebook and I said, don't teach people to pray, demonstrate it.
Demonstrate it.
Just pray.
Yeah, pray and people will join you. So and it will give you a lot of power, because by the time you tell them, okay, you need to pray, because they see you doing it with actions as a leader, it will be so easy for them. But if they don't see you doing it, it will not be easy for them. But then let me add by saying, so leadership is influence. But the point is, what are you influencing with? I like to tell people, the tool of influence for a leader is his gift, his talent.
Good.
That is what makes. So then that's why I like to tell people, when you talk about a family, for example, or marriage, the first convert in a marriage is your wife, if you are a man. She must be your first follower. And that's why I tell people, don't marry a girl who is not your follower. And what is she following? She's following your gift.
Wow.
So a leader is like the way Moses was called, and then God asked him, what is that on your hand? I like telling people, everybody is a Moses. And for every Moses, there is a Aaron, and there is an enslaved nation that they are supposed to go and save. And what are they supposed to go and save with? With their talent. There is always something we were born with. That is called a tool of influence.
Wow.
And that tool of influence is your natural talent. And for people who are born again, I like to tell them, we talk about the gifts of the Spirit, and then we talk about natural gifts. Even when God anoints you, and that's why the Bible talks about the Holy Spirit anoints us as He wills and gives us gifts as He wills.
Yes.
If you are born to be a doctor, the gifts of the Spirit that will come on you, they will be ones that brings out the doctor in you. So the gifts of the Spirit work together with the natural gifts. So if a man has not found his tool of influence, his talent, he's not ready even to have a family, because how are you going to lead them? Yes.
Wow, we are getting into the deep waters, and I like the way the conversation is flowing. We are now getting into how do you apply your talent in leadership. And I know this is a conversation that we can get deeper, even in terms of passion. How do I even discover whether I'm gifted or not? And other things that makes a leader, that which makes people follow you. What will make people follow you? What will make people assist you? I want to read some of the comments we have online. There are some people who are following us. Apostle Tony Gumo, thank you, sir, for following, and he's watching his live.
Wow.
All the way from where? God bless you. Lakini, well tuned, big up Dad Chris. You have your daughters and sons here.
Yes, yes.
Wow, it says that your wisdom is undisputed. Pesa imemwagwa hapa. Harun Muraya following. Jackson Nzuki, leaders are born, but they must be developed. Very profound. Wow, thank you. Then we have Blessed Willen. Check your sound on Pang channel. So that is just an instruction.
Yes.
Then we have Joy Joyous. This is my sister watching all the way from Nairobi City. So we continue encouraging us to watch, even those on YouTube. I will be sampling those of us who are watching from YouTube. Continue talking to your friends. Let us keep this conversation going. If you hear a bugger point, please pin it right there. Let others know that which you have been able to caption. We are going for a break, but we are coming back in 1 or 2 minutes We'll be right back. God bless you.
The church is back at Uhuru Park. The chairman of the Standing Strong Ministers Conference, Apostle Othniel Mwabili, and the conference convener, Apostle David Juma, together with the Executive Planning Committee, invites all church leaders, students leaders, marketplace and corporate leaders to the 2024 Kenya edition of the Standing Strong Ministers Conference, taking place from Tuesday 9th to Friday 12th July 2024 at Uhuru Park Gardens, Nairobi, with leadership sessions running from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily and open sessions from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. daily. The theme for this year's conference is Strengthening Your Brethren, drawn from Luke 22 verse 32. Ministering will be guest ministers Bishop Thomas Muthe from Kenya.
Your weakness, that's no reason to give up. There is a God who begins from the void.
Bishop Stanley Molili from Kenya.
A transformational church must grow smaller as it grows bigger.
Apostle Yemi Adefarasin from Nigeria.
God is looking for people that are his representatives who understand their redemptive destiny and purpose.
And Bishop Joseph Matera from USA.
You can bring heaven, you can manifest glory wherever you are.
And the host, Apostle David Juma and Pastor Sunde Juma.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving from the one powerful anointed minister to the corporate body.
The church was birthed by the Holy Ghost, and the works of God can only be done by the Holy Ghost.
Find registration forms on our social media platforms. For more information, kindly call 0722 669651. The 2024 Kenya edition of the Standing Strong Ministers Conference. Don't miss out on this great opportunity of strengthening for your ministry work ahead. See you there. This conference is organized by various churches and is open to the whole body of Christ.
Yes, and welcome back. And as we had promised, we are back, and we are looking at this wonderful topic, a man as a leader. We are demystifying leadership, and we are breaking it down in a way that every man can understand, because we want to help man understand his place in the society, his place in his family, and even leading himself. We call it personal leadership. You cannot lead anything else if you cannot lead yourself. Now, we have a panel of men who are breaking it as it is. Evangelist Andrew, who is the director, lead academy, and we also have Apostle Chris Bravery, who is also here with us. He has been a household. He's always my co-host. We've done several shows with him, and people have come to like you, sir. Wow. People are telling me, please don't come without Apostle Chris. Wow. Yeah, so we want to go back to what we were doing, and there's something that you are explaining, Evangelist Andrew.
Yes.
We wanted to know how can a man deal with, number one, rejection and rebellion. We can call it rejection and rebellion in the followership.
Yes.
Let's talk about family. Yes. There's a gentleman who feels that his wife is not supporting him as a leader.
Yes. Yes.
You know, there's nothing as dangerous as when everybody else believes in you and your own family, and your wife is giving people all the reasons to doubt what you're saying.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I know maybe he might not have proved himself, but how do you deal with that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So the first thing, I think, to begin to begin with, you first start with prevention of some of the challenges you can end up having as a man with your wife. And it begins with, first of all, are you leading her? Are you leading her? That, you know, so is she influenced? And that's why I said that the person that you end up picking to be your spouse must be your follower. She must believe in your dream. She must, when you talk about what you're passionate about, the dream, the vision you have, she must be not someone who wonders, what is that? You know, I'm not even interested with that. I don't even understand where you're trying to go. So she must be somebody that, you know, understands, and you're influencing. And of course, it has to be that talent and that gift God has given you that she's being attracted to. Women naturally are usually attracted to people on stage, because most people are brought to the stage by their talent, by their gift. So they're usually attracted by that. So you pick someone, you know, somebody that is interested. But then again, if you get to that point when, you know, you're having challenges, this is the first thing I usually tell people. A true leader must have a connection with God. Actually, I like to tell people, a true leader must first be led by God. I don't believe anybody who talks about leadership or who tries to do leadership is producing true leadership without connection with God. You must be led by God. God must be, you know, must be one who is the one leading you first as a man. And that is because God will help you, because every leader is challenged. If you talk about Jesus Christ, he had challenges. You know, he had Judases. Yes. There is always a Judas in the boardroom of every leader. There is always somebody that is sabotaging you. And sometimes the Judas can be your own wife.
The Sanbarats and Tobias.
Yes. Then they are always there. But one of the first things you have to do is to make sure, as a leader, is God leading you? Do you have a connection with God? Because that is going to give you some spiritual energy, some spiritual power, you know, that will be able to help you balance even when you have, you know, because sometimes people can be against you, and the way you respond, it can even destroy what you're trying to build. So, and of course, if you're having a relationship with God, of course, you'll be a prayerful person, and, you know, and you need to be patient. You know, there are attributes that a leader needs to have. So that even when you are having challenges, and when your leadership is being challenged, you have to be patient. I have, in the times I've been in leadership, some of the people that have opposed me the most are people that I've mentored. There are people I have sat down and had coffee with, and they and paid the coffee. And those are some of the people that have opposed me. But most people that have been around me, they'll tell you, this guy is very patient. I can know somebody is fighting me, but I have that attribute of just, I become silent and I pray about it. And you know, silence is very powerful, especially when you have opposition. You know what would surprise you is that Jesus, for a long time, he knew that he had a Judas. But his patience, and that was, and the reason why he was able to be that patient is because he had a connection with God, and he would spend time to pray. So he had a strength, because sometimes when you are a leader, some of the people that oppose you can turn around and become some of your best followers and supporters. If you can be patient enough and continue to, you know, and continue to influence them. So patient, and there are other attributes like love. A leader must love. A leader must be a nurturer. And you know, if you as a leader you are a nurturer, it means you must be patient. Actually, a leader should be what a mother is like. You know, you know, a mother has seen it all. You know, has seen the child in its worst, but she's patient. You know, to try and bring out the good person.
Wow, so, I think I'm asking that because I have seen people who say that you know, the closest people around them are the first people to sabotage them. People who have seen you grow, and they don't believe that you can take them anywhere. You remember the issue of Moses. You remember the aspect of Joseph. David, what have you come to do? The dream, here comes the dreamer. And it's true that God has called you, but how do you make it? How do you make the people around you believe that you are being called as a leader in a certain system or in a certain family?
Actually, Joe, leadership ability mostly is known in crisis.
Wow.
Because leadership actually comes to handle crisis, to handle difficulty times.
Yes.
It's only a leader, only leadership gets people out of problems, out of issues, out of crisis. Whether it is a family, whether it is a church, whether it is a nation. When a nation or a family is in a crisis, all it requires is a leader. Is a leader. Once a leader is in place, people will go out of crisis. So one of the things that happens around leadership is that leadership must be tried. We will always be under trial. We will always be challenged. And the first people, like the man of God is saying, the first people to test and to try really and to challenge your leadership are the people that you are trying to raise, the people that you are trying to help. They are the ones that have known your weakness. They will see the way you do things. They will question some of the things. Sometimes they will think you are not genuine. Sometimes they will feel your emotions are not correct towards them. Because it's not every day you will be smiling to them. So they will be feeling like, I think he's taking advantage of us. So once in a while, they will be throwing some punches on you. I think one time I watched a movie those years where a certain, Chinese guy was training a young man, and then he trained the young man in this whatever karate thing, and then the young man felt that I have known better than my master.
Yes, sir.
So one day he staged a fight with the master.
Yes.
And that young man was given one blow, and he went back to the chamber to ask the old man, you mean you didn't, what was that? What just happened? What happened?
Yes.
And the old man said, I knew one day
that you challenge me.
You will challenge me. So I hid one of the nuggets to handle you.
Come on,
yes. That is just to tell you that you have, as you lead your people, as you grow people, like the man of God said, that one of the greatest responsibility of a leader is to raise leaders. As you raise leaders, please understand that you are the same people that will try you.
Who will be the first people to challenge your leadership.
They will challenge you. They will criticize you. And one of the things that a leader must do when he is criticized, you don't first of all respond as in it's like you are responding. You first check the criticism. If it is worthy, if you can listen to that criticism very well, it should improve your leadership. Because it should help you to know where you need to grow and develop yourself, or there are things that you need to be quiet about, and they will die a natural death. And be patient with them, as the man of God is saying. And again, also, every problem at some point is a wisdom problem. Now, Joe, wisdom. You need to talk to us about that.
Speak it as you feel it.
It's a wisdom problem. Every issue, every crisis you see is wisdom away from the solution. So if a leader will have wisdom, develop in wisdom, and like he has said, that you have to walk with God, because God is a giver of wisdom. You get wisdom from him. So if you have wisdom, you can be able to manage through the crisis and the issues that comes with the leadership. Leadership has its own challenges, but when wisdom is in place, wisdom is the principal thing. So that is it.
Can I add something to what you said? I like what you have said very much, because I like to tell people, like, leadership are introduced to the stage of leadership by crisis.
You're right.
So when crisis come, you discover who is the leader when there is crisis.
You are right.
If in the absence of crisis, leaders, you don't know who is the leader. But when crisis come, then you discover who is the leader, because the leader stands up, takes responsibility. But something else also, crisis develop leaders. They give them the muscle to lead. Because the thing about leadership, there is no perfect person. There is no perfect leader. But every time a crisis comes against you as a leader, it develops a certain muscle in you. You become tough. You can handle it. Because the reason why sometimes God cannot trust some people with some leadership roles is because you are not tough. You can't. The first person that opposes you, you are going to burst. You're going, and that's why that's why the silence and patience and giving it time is one of the greatest tools a leader can use to develop people. So everybody is talking everywhere. There is a lot of crisis everywhere, but the leader is cool. Is very quiet. Because in that quietness, then you get the wisdom. So that the day you will speak, everybody keeps quiet. You've been listening to everybody. You know, there is a lot of, everything has been going on. So a leader must not approach, must not see crisis as a bad thing. They should see crisis as an opportunity to learn, to improve your leadership. What makes people sit down and call you to come and talk to them about leadership? It's because of that experience, that muscle you have developed. They want to know, when crisis came, how did you handle it? Yes.
And on that, handling crisis, leaders are made out of crisis. It is in crisis that champions emerge. You don't need to go saying that I am a leader, I'm a leader. No, wait until there is crisis. Don't fight those who are fighting you. Wait until crisis comes. That's when everybody will flee and you'll take your place. We are going for a break again, but coming back shortly. See you. Yes, and we are back looking at a man as a leader. And these are our last parts. And we want to do justice to the family time, because this is family time, very prime time. We know that you are watching us on your sitting room, or you are dining, or from wherever place you are watching us from. We want to look a man, the leader, in the family. And I want our panelists here to help me. How can we help this man watching us together with his family lead his family better? Maybe he's fighting some challenges here and there. How can he become a better leader? You know, there are challenges that a man will have, but his family doesn't know that he's having those challenges in leadership. Maybe in communication, maybe in terms of provision, leading in many different dimensions. How can we help this man watching us on leading his family well? Apostle Chris.
Yeah, one of the things that a man needs to have in place so that he can be able to lead his family very well, because that is his responsibility. because if anything stalls, if anything stops, like we were saying behind the cameras, that everything rises or falls on leadership.
Yes.
Is to be able to know himself and his place, the knowledge of yourself as a man. And like, you know, the reason why I keep referring to him is because I'm liking what he is saying. Very vital, very important. That every man needs to know his place, and you can know your place, number one, if you don't know yourself.
Yes.
Study yourself, know yourself, have a knowledge of who you are, who you are. We need men in the families today that should be, like, they should be reminded that you are the leader here. Don't let things go this way. You are the leader. Being a leader means you are the ones that should be able to take responsibility and to take charge. To take charge. That if anything happens in this place, then you are the one to be asked the question. When God came into the family of Adam and Eve, when he left them in the garden, and stuff happened, when God came, he did not ask Eve. He asked the man. It is not the man who really went for the fruit, but the woman. But the thing happened within the jurisdiction of a man. That was the family. That was enough lesson to tell us that when God put a family together, he expects the man to take responsibility. That's why we usually do our responsibility leadership congress, to tell the people or the men that you have to take charge, be in charge, be the one that is calling the shots, be the one that is leading the way, knowing the way, and showing the way. And that begins by first understanding yourself, having an education of yourself, that this is who God expects me to be, this is who he created me to be, and therefore this is the direction God expects me to take my family. So have a knowledge of yourself so that you can be able to take your place and lead your family.
Wow, great.
Can I?
Yes, you can go.
Yeah, if I can add on what he's saying, is that the first thing that a leader should have is that he should know who he is.
Yes. Identity.
Yes. That is identity. Actually, I'm writing a book. We are releasing it in the month of August, God willing, and I have titled it Identity, Where Leadership Begins.
Wow. So because identity, leadership begins in identity.
Yeah, leadership begins with identity, because, and that is where, when you discover who you are, it develops an attitude. You know, an attitude of a leader.
Yes.
A person that, the way you carry yourself, you know you are responsible. You know you are in charge. You know it is you that is supposed to lead the way. So, you must first know who you are, like he's saying. You must understand, in this family, I am a leader. And you don't know who you are. Knowing who you are is not about controlling and telling everybody, I'm in charge, guys, you need to respect me. If you have to tell everybody that they need to respect you, they need to listen to you, then you are not leading.
You are not leading.
Actually, someone said, it is
Yes.
Margaret Thatcher.
Yes.
In one of her writings, she says that leadership is like being a woman.
Yes.
If you have to say that you are, then you are not.
Yes, then you are not. Yeah, that is true. Then the second thing is that if you want to lead your family well, you have to understand what is a family. You know, I like how the Wazungus, they are. If someone from the US wants to visit Kenya, they will go buy books about Kenya. The challenge with us Africans is that we want to do things that you don't even understand what you're doing.
Have a clue what
You want to get married, you don't know what marriage is, you will not go to a marriage class, then you're going to have a lot of problems, and then, you know, you will be coming to us and, you know, for counseling. So you need to understand what is a family. And my understanding of a family is that a family is an institution. You can call it an organization. You can call it a cooperation, whatever you want to call it. If marriage is an institution, it must have a goal. Let me tell you, one of the reasons why women and even men, sometimes after they are married, they start finding marriage boring, is that it has no goal. You are just there. And life is very boring when you are just there.
Two aspects.
Yeah, you must have a goal. The man must before even you get married, and if you have gotten married, then you need to understand marriage is an institution. And if it's an institution, it has to have goals. Those goals, when you are chasing a goal, it becomes exciting. Your wife, you know, she will easily follow you because you have a goal. You are going somewhere. And you know, I like the way somebody put it. Somebody said, marriage is a cooperation. The husband is the president. Yes. The wife is the vice president or the CEO. You know, the husband is the CEO. Yes. And the children are the board members.
Wow. All right.
I like how they put it because when you first of all, in your mind, when you approach marriage as an institution, like a business corporation, the way you run it will make it exciting. And somebody, the person said, the husband, and by the way, just before I go to that, I have to say, in marriage, you lead as a man.
Yes.
In marriage, there is a man and there is a husband.
Okay.
A husband is a position.
Okay.
Now, when you talk about positions, you are talking management. But leadership, there is no position. You have to understand yourself as a leader and lead without position. So you lead your family as a man because man is a leader. That means if you were not able to lead that lady first, then you know, if you will not be able to lead the family in terms of you will not be able to influence, and then you are going to have a lot of problems. So once you understand that marriage is an institution and you lead as a man, you know, things begin to become easy. And I like, as I finish, I like, the person said you are president to preside over. To preside over the family.
Okay.
And when you see it like that, everybody in the family sees it as a blessing. And if you are family to preside over, then your wife is an assistant. She's helping you in the whole thing. And your children, they are board members, so that if you have a goal,
they also have a say.
Yeah, they have a say. They have a say. I like how, you know, some people will be able to understand so that they incorporate children. And why are you incorporating children? You actually tell them, we are doing this because we have this goal. And this is why we are doing it. Wow. Because a good man must raise the next generation of men. Wow. And a good woman must raise the next. So you want to raise the next generation. So you are involving them.
Actually, they say that a generation is responsible for the next generation.
For the next generation.
So I think the aspect of mentorship, even as we come to the close of this show, this discussion, we can keep on this discussion because it is a discussion that is very relevant, and especially in our times, where we see like we have a problem in leadership. Apostle Chris is saying that we no longer have a problem in leadership. What we have a problem with is followership. Yes. You, the follower, is the problem. Yes. And we must fix both the leader and the follower. We must fix both. I want Apostle Chris, even as we sign out, I want you to give your closing remarks and also tell us where you can find you and the other things that you do apart from coming to Man Unveiled.
Wonderful.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure being here on Elevate TV, Man Unveiled. Of course, like we said from the beginning, I'm from Embu. My name is Chris Bravery. All social media platforms, you can find me there, and from there we can have a chat. I'm from Embu currently, and I believe God that is taking us far. I'm the director of Ignite Africa Apostolic Mission, and you can find us on any one of those platforms in the name of Jesus. As men, please let us lead. Let's be the head. Let us go ahead of everybody. The world is looking after us. Let's show the way. Let's go the way. Wow. Let's lead the way. Amen.
The world is looking for leadership.
Yes.
Be the leader. That's what Apostle Chris is saying. The world is looking for leadership. Be the leader. Be the leader. Yes. Sandro. Yeah.
First of all, I want
remarks and where can we be found?
All right. First of all, I want to appreciate you for for inviting me to this program, and I want to appreciate everybody that has watched us. and I want to encourage you to put the things that we have talked about, or in practice. And if you are a man there who is watching us, you have to know that you are born a leader. And if you start practicing leadership principles with your family, things are going to be easy, even if you have been having some challenges. So it is important to embrace leadership, understand leadership, look at some of the things we've been talking about, put them in practice. It's going to be easy for your family to follow you because you're displaying leadership. You have to know that is your position. My name is Andrew, and in Facebook you can find me as Evangelist Andrew. We also have a new page. I'm Andrew Speaks. We are planning to come up with a show for that. That's why we are calling ourselves Andrew Speaks. And so you can follow me as Andrew Speaks. I will post, I post things like now what we are talking about, and you'll be able to learn more. I am the director, Lead Academy, and in Lead Academy we organize conferences, we organize seminars, we do it here in the city, and we bring all kinds of people and we get to teach them about leadership. So you guys follow me. I'm going to be releasing my first book very soon, and so that you can know about it, and I think it's going to be a big blessing. Thank you so much, Apostle Joe, for inviting me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. And I know we have all enjoyed the show. I'm your host, Joe Wisdom. Joe Wisdom is an author of 3 powerful books that I wish that every man can have a copy and just go through it. One of them is called Wisdom for Wealth, Money and the Spirit of Wealth. This is what we say, that money, wealth is spiritual, and any man who deals with money spiritually prospers. Another book is Wisdom for the Marketplace. We say you must master your marketplace assignment. Very important. Then you have Wisdom for Relationships. Relationship is a choice. Love is a command, but relationship is a choice.
Yes.
You must take care of your relationships. I want to sign out, and I want to appreciate every one of us who was watching tonight, and everyone who have shared our video tonight and this program. Let's keep it on. Let's keep it Elevate every Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m. We want to appreciate Mjego Smart. Thank you. Nice conversation. Bishop Loy. Thank you, sir, for watching. And all those who are watching us live on Elevate on YouTube. God bless you and see you. God bless.